Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Your host Ram, welcoming you back to the Cricket Happening Show after quite a long time, I reckon. Do apologize. I was a bit under the weather and I could not connect you, but I've been seeing that people have been very patient waiting for my show, which is good to see. The audience is hooking on, and I'm getting very, very good support. And thank you for supporting this cricket show, whoever are actually watching my cricket show and being loyal to my cricket show. So, yes, definitely. Still, I am not out of the woods as far as my health is concerned. But nevertheless, still go to work. And so basically, I'm going to talk about the ICC T20 World Cup. Uh, the ICC T20 World Cup in Australia has been a pretty exciting journey. I mean, one has not been able to know the outcome with rain, unseasonal rain coming in and spoiling proceedings. But as I said, the suspense is still on. But one is over today when England beat Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka definitely stretched England to the limit, absolute limit, one could call, which was not expected. And probably Australia might be watching that match and thinking that Sri Lanka might put it across England to probably for Australia to sneak through. But that didn't happen as England won against Sri Lanka. Ben Stokes was there to hit the winning run, and that was the victory for England. And England and New Zealand have confirmed their places in the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup, which is the business end of the tournament. And besides that, as far as the other group is concerned, it is an absolutely seesaw battle. Even now, no team is really confirmed their places into the semi-finals. India take on Zimbabwe tomorrow, a very big game at that. But India will have something to plan because the first game happens to be I think the first game is going to be Netherlands and South Africa, if I'm not wrong. And then there's a Pakistan-Bangladesh clash coming up. And then India take on Zimbabwe. So definitely India will have some planning to do. But for Pakistan and Bangladesh, they might be hoping that Zimbabwe can put it across India. But if India beat Zimbabwe, India are perched at 8 points. And South Africa beating Netherlands takes them to, I reckon it is 8, if I'm not wrong. Or I think it's 7 because they lost 1 point. So they might be at 7. So India and South Africa will reach. But now everything has to go according to the form book. So South Africa have to beat Netherlands. Which is something that we can probably say. But this World Cup has already given a lot of surprises. We know the West Indies were pushed out of the tournament. Namibia upset Sri Lanka, but Sri Lanka finally have lost their way and they are out of the tournament. So definitely a very interesting day's World Cup matches coming up tomorrow. South Africa taking on Netherlands, Pakistan taking on Bangladesh, and India at the MCG at the Melbourne Cricket Ground taking on the Zimbabweans, who are a very, very strong team in this World Cup. And as I said, they are led by none other than Dave Houghton, the coach, who is a master craftsman, I would call him. Well, so definitely a game on as far as tomorrow is concerned. And probably tomorrow we might see the end of all the league matches. The Super 12 will end tomorrow, and we enter into the business end of the tournament. As I said, England and New Zealand, congratulations to them. They have entered the semi-finals. The host Aussies have been a big disappointment. They are the hosts. Not only they are the hosts of the tournament, they are also the defending champions of the T20 World Cup. And it's a bit of a shame, one could call, that they are out of the T20 World Cup. So big disappointment for the Aussie spectators, I reckon. But nevertheless, it's a World Cup. So I'm sure the Aussie fans will be still glued on to their TV sets and watching it in the stadiums. Now, let's talk about today's game. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to talk about the England versus Sri Lanka game, which was a wonderful game that happened. And, as I said, Australia was waiting probably to see to it that Sri Lanka usurp England, which was not to be, as England kept their cool and finally emerged triumphant. as far as the ICC T20 World Cup, we'll be looking at a few ICC T20 World Cup matches as to how the form book has been. So Pakistan, Bangladesh, you can't say. Bangladesh ran India close by 5 runs, as you would remember. And Pakistan, Bangladesh, it is going to be. And Zimbabwe and India, I can tell you one thing. Zimbabwe and India went to Zimbabwe. They had a very close shaving in Zimbabwe. So let us not take anything for granted. Yes, we didn't have India didn't have the full strength team, one understands. But again, this World Cup is something which has thrown a lot of surprises. But let's look at the Sri Lanka England game right now. As I said, this game was a must-win game for England to put Australia into that place, and they did it very rightly. As looking at this game here, the Sri Lankans were the ones who batted first. But let me first talk about an electric start provided by the Sri Lankan openers. Pathum Nissanka. He's not a player who really hits those big strokes, but the way he played, it was an absolutely marvelous to watch him as he just carved the England bowling attack to absolute pieces, one could call, as he contributed a very attractive 67 of 45 deliveries, which included 5 sixes and 2 boundaries. Kushal Mendes contributed 18 of 14 deliveries, 1 4 and 1 6. So definitely, as I said, the England bowlers were put under the pump. Ben Stokes started proceedings along with Chris Wokes, but they started disappearing for 4s and 6s from the bat of Pathum Nissanka. As I said, he probably took them by surprise. And what a power play that was! They were running absolutely amok, the Sri Lankan batsmen, when the English bowlers were bowling. 18 to Kushal Mendes of 14 deliveries, 1 4 and 1 6, and then sanity was restored for England after the power play overs. When on the next 10 overs, I thought England totally dominated. To be in a position where they were 72 for 2 at one stage when Dhananjay De Silva departed after making 9 runs, one would have expected the Sri Lankans to go off to probably a 180 total. But it was not to be, as it was the spin of Adil Rashid, who did not take a lot of wickets. But look at his bowling analysis. He bowled 4 overs with a lot of guile, 1 for 16. And that is what really, set back the Sri Lankans. And then the bowlers came in. Mark Wood, as you know, he really defeats the batsman with the pace. And that's what he precisely did. He bowled with lots of venom. And then Sam Curran, who is a much improved bowler for England. So England definitely looking very good there. Liam Livingstone, 2 overs for 16. And it was not a very sorry card reading as far as the Sri Lankans were concerned. Dhananjay De Silva was out for 9, 8 to Charita Salanka. Bhanuka Rajapaksa briefly entertained with a knock of 22 of as many balls with 3 4s, but that was it for Bhanuka Rajapaksa. Dasun Shanaka, the captain, could not get going. He was gone for 3. Hasaranga out for 9. Chamika Karunaratne out. And Mahesh Deekshana not. And 141 for 8. As I said, from 72 for 2 at 8.2 overs. The Sri Lankans, I thought, totally lost their way as England hit back in the final 10 overs and saw to it that they restricted the Sri Lankans. And that really was something which contributed in great measure to Sri Lanka's loss here. And that was the score. 141 for 8 was the final tally for the Sri Lankans. As far as the bowling was concerned, Stokes had 1 for 24 of 3. Wokes 3 overs, 1 for 24. Mark Wood 3 for 26. 1 for 27 for Sam Curran. A much improved bowler, Sam Curran now. Adil Rashid 1 for 16. Liam Livingstone none for 16 of 2. Moeen Ali 1 for 5. None for 5. Now, England were chasing 142 and they were provided the perfect start from these 2 explosive openers. One, Joss Buttler, the other one, the captain of the England team. At the other end, it was Alex Hales. And what a partnership. Alex Hales was going aerial. He was hitting those boundaries with that nice timing that he has. Joss Buttler, as usual, he plays those strokes with a lot of perfection. And these 2 were really hurting the Sri Lankans. As 75 runs were added in 7 overs, they were up to the task. In fact, they were over the required run rate. The required run rate was only 7.05, but Butler and Alex Hales were gunning the Sri Lankan bowlers to such a degree that they were going along at an absolutely marvelous clip, one could call. 75 runs were added between Josh Butler and Alex Hales. The bowling, they started off with the spinner Mahesh Theekshana. Kasun Rajita went for plenty. Lairu Kumara, I thought, bowled well, but then looking at the England card there, this was the as you know, for Sri Lanka, it was a matter of a struggle in the last 10 overs. And precisely for England, that was a similar case, but England still came up triumphant because of Ben Stokes' coolness. Ben Stokes was the key player here, and I will let you know why. As I said, the power play overs were going on superbly for England, and they had added 75 runs, with Butler's contribution being 28 of 23, 2 fours, 1 6, and Alex Hales 47 of 30 deliveries, with 7 fours and 1 6. In walked Ben Stokes, had 1 drop, and what an important innings he played under the circumstances. Suddenly, once the openers, Alex Hales and Butler, were back in the pavilion with the score reading 82 for 2 in 9.9 overs, everything started going wrong for the Englishmen. It was the spin. Asanka De Silva had taken care of Josh Butler and Alex Hales, but then Lairu Kumara and also the other spinner Dhananjay De Silva, which is innocuous off breaks, struck very good blows. Harry Brook was caught in ball with Dhananjay De Silva for 4. Liam Livingstone was caught by De Silva. Some very good fielding by the Sri Lankans. They were sprawling onto the ball and picking up the catches. It was good to see the commitment in the field from the Sri Lankans. Harry Brook made 4. Liam Livingstone making 4. Moeen Ali absolutely, I thought he was trying to chip the ball over the fielder, and Dasun Shanaka plucked it up for the bowling of Dhananjay De Silva. Dhananjay De Silva playing a good role here, picking up 2 wickets for 24 of his full quota of overs. Moeen Ali was, as I said, was a bit guilty. I thought it was a very bad shot from Moeen Ali, a very casual shot at that. Probably wanted to chip it over the fielder, but it went straight to the fielder. Sam Curran was out for 6, and suddenly there was a bit of a tension in the English camp as the score read 129 for 6, and Sam Curran departed in the 18th over. 2 overs required. But there's nothing to worry, as according to me, with Ben Stokes was there at the crease, and he was really playing some measured cricket. There was no big hitting in that. He had just 2 boundaries in this particular knock, and he also brought up the victory with a winning hit boundary. It's Chris Woakes, I thought, who hit the winning boundary, but Ben Stokes' innings was pretty crucial under the circumstances. Things could have gone AWR. They still had David Mallon in the tank still to come, so there's nothing to worry. But then finally, Ben Stokes skipping his goal, nurturing his team home, and taking them to the semi-finals. 42 not out from Ben Stokes of 36. 2 boundaries in that. Chris Woakes was not out on 5. 144 for 6, the final tally. But definitely full credit to the Sri Lankans. They stretched England to the limit. And besides that, one thing that one would notice over here is that they kept runs to a bare minimum. They started putting the pressure on the Englishmen, and the Englishmen started succumbing to the pressure. If you look at the bowling there, Mahesh Theekshana, 4 overs, none for 22. Kasun Rajita, 3 overs, none for 40. Lairu Kumara, I thought, bowled very well, none for 2 for 24 of his 3.4. One into Asanka was excellent, 2 for 23. Dhananjay De Silva with his innocuous off breaks, 4 overs, 2 for 24. And Charita Salanka, 1 over, none for 8. Adil Rashid for a brilliant spell of 1 for 16. Took the man of the match award. So, as I said, England, congratulations. England and New Zealand have reached the semi-finals of T20 World Cup 2022. Now, Australia, the hosts, have been pushed out of the competition. Australia have only themselves to blame for not really getting in. So, it's a big disappointment for the Aussie spectators, the Aussie fans. My commiserations to the Aussie fans here, but the Aussies are no longer an entirety in the T20 World Cup, as they have been pushed out of the World Cup by England. Now looking at the other side of the scale, we are looking at matches. As I said, the other group which is there, things are really hotting up here at the center. Tomorrow, as I said, there are 3 matches coming up. Now, India and South Africa, we will look at the points table as well, just to have a glimpse of what lies in store tomorrow in those matches. Let's look at the table now and see. So, as I said, ICC Men's T20 World Cup Group 1, the semi-final placings have been decided. New Zealand and England have qualified, and tomorrow it is going to be seen whether it is going to be India and South Africa is the ones who are going to be. But again, there's still the outcome of the matches. Nobody is still sure. India are in with 6 points. So if they beat Zimbabwe, they go on to 8 points. South Africa, if they beat Netherlands, which is expected, they will go on to 7 points. So let's have a scenario where India lose to Zimbabwe by any chance. They remain on 6 points. And if Pakistan beat Bangladesh, they go on to 6 points. Or if Bangladesh beat Pakistan, they still go on to 6 points. It comes to the net run rate. So, and India's net run rate, I have to say, I'm afraid to say, they are not looking very good right now. With Pakistan and Bangladesh I think Pakistan are having a better run rate. Bangladesh still are in the are still a bit below. But I think India is not having a good run rate. But as far as the points are concerned, they are right on top. So we have a great game on hand, as I said. South Africa, Netherlands, well, according to the form book, yes, South Africa expected to beat Netherlands. But as I said, you never know what's in store. Netherlands also a very, very good team. And one can't say that we can't just dismiss the Netherlands like that. But still, it's a game. Still a game on, I would say, South Africa, Netherlands. At the other side, as I said, India, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe have given a close shave. India had a close shave with Zimbabwe but again, it was a second string team. But again, it's not something we know. The Zimbabweans have come here. I mean, they're just inching. If you look at the points table, the Zimbabweans have 3 points, but they are. I mean, they don't have a chance. We know that. But Zimbabweans have done well. This is the first T20 World Cup where they have done exceedingly well. And there's still a chance. But again, India in the current form would be expected to win against Zimbabwe. But Pakistan, Bangladesh, again, I have to say Pakistan in the recent exchanges have beaten Bangladesh. But again, you can't just read into it. As you know, Bangladesh ran India close by 5 runs. So you never know what is in store. And especially in Australia. And also if rain is something, I'm told that rain is going to stay away, which is good news. But if rain is going to be something which is going to fall, that could really dampen all hopes and it could really upset the standing. One does not know what will happen if the points are shared. Let's take a scenario with points are shared. The points are shared. India go on to 7, so India are 7. South Africa go on to 6. Pakistan will be 5. So again. Yes, if the points are shared, I think India and South Africa should be the ones who would be going through. But again, as I said, a lot of permutations and combinations. I don't want to hazard a guess here. I don't want to make any assumptions. Let's wait and watch and see what actually transpires tomorrow on a Sunday, on a public holiday in Australia. Where even though I'm expecting the Aussie crowd probably would have been pretty disappointed that their blokes are not there in the T20 World Cup, but still there's a lot of life left in this T20 World Cup. We are just entering the business end of the tournament, and tomorrow will be the last day of the Super 12 matches that are coming up, and I'm sure it's going to be an absolute treat. 3 matches coming up in the Super 12. Which is going to decide the fate of the 2 semi-final places that's going to be clinched by both the teams. The expectation is India and South Africa should be the ones who will be reaching the semi-finals. But again, the form book can definitely be overturned. But if it does not, that is good. One word here for Bangladesh. I have to say, when I started this cricket preview of the World Cup, I myself said that Bangladesh, I'm not giving any chance. And I said that if they can prove me wrong, I will be told. I think I have to eat my words. Because as I said, Bangladesh ran India close by 5 runs. And definitely I have to say, Bangladesh, well done. I'm not bothered about what I said, but I'm happy for Bangladesh. They have really showed some real pluck here. They have come up in a big way and they have done a wonderful job. So keep it up. I think the Aussie wickets, the pacey and bouncy wickets have really suited the Bangladesh. Bangladesh has executed their plans. Taskin Ahmed has been the prime star bowler, bowled excellently against India. With Shakib Al Hasan, I thought, doing an absolutely a brilliant and intelligent thing by bowling Taskin Ahmed out. I think 4 overs he gave 12 or 14 runs, I reckon, but he bowled magnificently. And let's have a look at not cricket, I mean World Cup. We are keeping the news of the World Cup. We had the news yesterday in the T20 World Cup by Afghanistan losing the match to Australia. But what a match that was between Afghanistan and Australia. Afghanistan running the Aussies close, and it was looking like probably the Aussies might be a serve by Afghanistan, with Rashid Khan playing an absolute gem towards the end and giving a big fright to the Aussies. But whether nothing matters right now, as Australians are out of the T20 World Cup. And as far as the week was concerned, India losing against South Africa, and New Zealand have reached the semi-finals. And for Pakistan, their concern will be that Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan have been struggling with their form. There are 4 innings they have gone where they have not been able to forge the partnerships that they are really renowned for. So is that coming tomorrow? That would be the key against Bangladesh, according to me. Virat Kohli, as you know, his name is called King Kohli, and why not? He is the highest run scorer in the men's T20 World Cup. He went past Mahela Jayawardene's record of 1,016 runs, as you know. And also, one good thing happened in this week, barring the World Cup. We are talking about the South African young batter who came into the IPL this year, made his debut, looked extremely impressive. And this young bloke, Dewald Brevis, just 19 years of age, went on to score not a brilliant century, a big century at that. I think he slammed 162 runs in the men's T20 in South Africa. And definitely he's the player for the future for the South Africans, Dewald Brevis. And I think the South Africans are brimming with talent here. Tristan Stubbs, the young batsman, is also a magnificent talent here. And for Pakistan, I thought the other day in their match they beat South Africa. But let us understand that Pakistanis were very, very lucky with David Miller, such a big game player, not being there. It worked to Pakistan's advantage, in my reckoning. Well, dear fans, it's an absolute pleasure bringing you this cricket show on Cricket Happenings over quite a long time. But it has been an absolute, as I said, I really love talking to you all. And I've been absolutely, it really has reinvigorated me. As I said, I was under the weather for quite a long time, and I could not come on to my cricket show. I know I don't have any audiences right now, which is absolutely understood, but I'm sure they would look into my videos. Now, whoever are looking at my cricket videos, I'd just like to mention one more thing on YouTube. I do have a great collection of cricket videos. If you want to go and watch 50 years of cricket videos, I have a big collection. Hook on to my videos, go on to my favorites, and look at the videos that I've uploaded. Thanks to YouTube, I have a plethora of cricket videos waiting for you. If you are an avid cricket fan, if you're a crazy cricket fan like me, go there and explore the cricket videos that I put on YouTube. There, you can see 50 years of cricket. 1960s probably, but 1970s. I've gone into 1970s. You got videos from 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s, the 2010. You can see all sorts of cricket videos. So do explore that. With that being said, this is your host Ram on a very, very happy note, signing off, but again telling you it's game on tomorrow in Australia and the ICC T20 World Cup 2022. 3 crunch matches coming, which will be deciding the fate of the group, which will be deciding the 2 semi-final spots that are up for grabs tomorrow in the ICC T20 World Cup in Australia. This being said, this is your host Ram signing off, but promising you that I'll be back in action with you all tomorrow after the matches are over. Until then, it's goodbye from your host Ram.